Mind and Muscle, the Roman-Germanic Struggle. Chapter 1. Seeds of Conflict. The year was 12 BCE, and the Roman Empire stood at the zenith of its power. Its legions, seasoned from campaigns across Gaul and Hispania, now turned their gaze to the dark, forbidding forests of Germania. The tribes beyond the Rhine were a patchwork of clans, bound by blood and custom, but divided by feuds and rivalries. To Rome, Germania was not just a land to conquer, it was a challenge to the very idea of civilization. Among the Germanic tribes, whispers of Roman incursion spread like wildfire. Chiefs gathered around smoky campfires, debating whether to unite or face their fate divided. Some, like Segimur of the Cherusei, believed in resistance at all costs. Others, lured by Roman wealth and promises, chose to ally themselves with the empire. But among the tribes stood a young man whose mind was as sharp as his sword. His name was Arminius, son of Segimur, and he had been sent to Rome as a hostage years earlier. There, he learned Latin, studied Roman strategy, and served in their legions. To his captors, he was the model of assimilation. To his people, he was a Trojan horse. Chapter 2. The Roman Advance. The commander of the Roman campaign was Drusus, the stepson of Emperor Augustus. Drusus was a man of ambition and vision, determined to extend the empire's borders beyond the Rhine. With each mile of forest cleared and each fort erected, he pushed deeper into Germania, carving out a path for Roman domination. Drusus believed that Rome's greatest weapon was not its legions but its system. Roads connected forts, supply lines ensured constant reinforcements, and Roman engineers turned dense forests into manageable battlegrounds. Yet, for all his planning, Drusus underestimated the resolve of his enemies. The Germanic tribes were not a unified force, but they shared an understanding of the land that no Roman map could replicate. They knew every river bend, every hidden path, and every natural trap. It was their greatest strength and the foundation of their resistance. Chapter 3. Arminius' Dilemma. By AD 7, Arminius had risen to a position of trust within the Roman military. As a commander of auxiliary forces, he fought alongside the Romans, earning their respect. Yet, in the depths of his heart, Arminius burned with a desire to free his people. Arminius' dual identity was both a blessing and a curse. He had seen the discipline of Rome firsthand and understood its strengths, but he also saw its weaknesses. The Romans, confident in their superiority, often dismissed the Germanic tribes as primitive barbarians. This arrogance would be their undoing. Returning to Germania under the guise of a loyal officer, Arminius began weaving a web of alliances among the tribes. It was no easy task. Old rivalries flared, and trust was scarce. But Arminius spoke with conviction, reminding the chiefs that Rome's conquest would strip them of their lands, their traditions, and their freedom. Chapter 4. The Teutoburg Trap. In AD 9, the stage was set. Publius Quinctilius Varus, the Roman governor of Germania, prepared to lead his legions into the heart of the forest. Varus trusted Arminius implicitly, relying on his guidance to navigate the treacherous terrain. What Varus did not know was that Arminius had orchestrated a rebellion, uniting the Cherusei, Bructeri, and other tribes in a common cause. The ambush in the Teutoburg forest was as swift as it was devastating. Over 3 days, the Roman legions were picked apart by an enemy they could barely see. The dense forest turned Varus formations into chaos, and the tribes attacked with a ferocity that shattered the Romans' discipline. When the dust settled, the legions were annihilated, their eagles captured. A humiliation that shook the Roman Empire to its core. Varus, unable to face the shame, fell on his sword. The defeat marked a turning point in the Roman-Germanic struggle, proving that even the mightiest empire could be humbled by those it deemed inferior. Chapter 5. Rome Strikes Back. The loss at Teutoburg Forest enraged Emperor Augustus, who vowed vengeance. Quintili Ver, legions red, he cried, mourning the destruction of his legions. Yet, Rome did not retreat in defeat. Under the leadership of Germanicus, nephew of Emperor Tiberius, the Romans launched a series of brutal campaigns to reclaim their honor. Germanicus was a man of strategy and charisma, leading his troops with both cunning and courage. Over the next few years, he struck deep into Germania, burning villages and scattering tribes. He recovered the lost eagle standards and exacted a heavy toll on the tribes. But Germania's wild terrain and the tribes' guerrilla tactics made a decisive victory elusive. Arminius, hailed as a hero among his people, faced challenges of his own. The unity he had forged began to fracture as the tribes returned to their old ways. His dream of a united Germania faltered, and in AD 21, he was betrayed and killed by rival chiefs. His death marked the end of a chapter, but his legacy endured as a symbol of resistance. Chapter 6: Strength versus Strategy. The Roman-Germanic conflict was not just a battle of armies. It was a contest of philosophies. Rome represented order, structure, and expansion, while the Germanic tribes embodied freedom, individuality, and resilience. The Romans relied on their disciplined legions and logistical prowess, while the tribes used their knowledge of the land and their ferocity in battle. The Rhine River became the dividing line between these two worlds. For Rome, it was a boundary of defense, marked by forts and watchtowers. For the tribes, it was a symbol of defiance, a reminder that their homeland had never been fully conquered. Chapter 7: The Legacy of Struggle. As centuries passed, the Roman-Germanic struggle evolved. The tribes grew stronger, adopting Roman tactics and forming their own kingdoms. The Franks, Visigoths, and Ostrogoths rose to power, their leaders often educated in Roman ways. By the 5th century, the Western Roman Empire crumbled, its lands divided among Germanic rulers. Yet the memory of the conflict endured. Roman roads, laws, and language shaped the emerging kingdoms, while the Germanic spirit of independence influenced the medieval world. Together, they created a new order, blending the best of both worlds. Chapter 8: The Architects of the New World. The fall of the Western Roman Empire in AD 476 did not mark the end of Roman influence but rather its transformation. The Germanic tribes, long viewed as Rome's adversaries, now occupied the lands that had once formed the heart of the empire. Yet, even as they took up the mantle of rulers, the shadow of Rome loomed large over their new dominions. Among the tribes, the Franks emerged as a dominant force. Under the leadership of Clovis I, they carved out a kingdom that stretched across much of modern-day France and Germany. Clovis, a shrewd and ambitious leader, recognized the value of Roman traditions. He converted to Christianity, aligning himself with the powerful Roman Church and earning the loyalty of his Romanized subjects. The fusion of Germanic warrior culture with Roman administrative practices laid the foundation for the medieval kingdoms of Europe. Meanwhile, the Ostrogoths, led by Theodoric the Great, established their rule in Italy. Theodoric, educated in Constantinople, sought to preserve the legacy of Rome while asserting his authority as a Germanic king. His court in Ravenna became a center of culture and learning, where Roman senators mingled with Gothic warriors. Though short-lived, Theodoric's reign was a testament to the potential for coexistence between the Roman and Germanic worlds. Chapter 9: The Battle for Identity. For the Germanic tribes, adopting Roman customs was both a necessity and a challenge. Roman roads facilitated trade and communication, but they also brought the influence of Roman law and culture. Tribal leaders found themselves balancing their traditional ways with the demands of ruling a Romanized populace. This struggle was particularly evident in the realm of religion. Christianity, once a fringe sect persecuted by Rome, had become the dominant faith of the empire. Many Germanic tribes, such as the Visigoths and Vandals, initially adopted Arian Christianity, a variant that diverged from the Roman Church. This religious difference often created tension between the Germanic rulers and their Roman subjects. Over time, however, most tribes converted to Catholicism, aligning themselves with the Roman Church. This shift was not merely a spiritual decision but a political one, solidifying alliances and legitimizing their rule. The Church, in turn, became a unifying force, bridging the cultural divide between conquerors and conquered. Chapter 10: Rome's Last Bastion. While the Western Empire fell to the Germanic tribes, the Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantine Empire, endured. From their capital in Constantinople, The Byzantines viewed the Germanic kingdoms as both a threat and an opportunity. They sought to maintain influence in the West through diplomacy and religious authority, often positioning themselves as the rightful heirs of the Roman legacy. The Byzantine Emperor Justinian I, in the 6th century, launched ambitious campaigns to reclaim the lost territories of the Western Empire. His general, Belisarius, achieved remarkable successes, retaking North Africa from the Vandals and parts of Italy from the Ostrogoths. Yet these victories came at a high cost, draining the empire's resources and leaving it vulnerable to new threats. For the Germanic kingdoms, Justinian's campaigns were a stark reminder of Rome's enduring reach. While they resisted his advances, they also adopted many Byzantine practices, from architectural styles to systems of governance. This blend of influences further shaped the emerging medieval world. Chapter 11: The Saxon Wars. By the 8th century, the legacy of the Roman-Germanic struggle found a new expression in the conflicts between the Franks and the Saxons. Charlemagne, king of the Franks and later crowned Holy Roman Emperor, sought to unify Europe under his rule. Like Rome before him, Charlemagne faced fierce resistance from the Germanic tribes that refused to submit.